Yeah, I think in a way, like the three lads opened up our lives quite a lot. You know, opened our minds to a lot of different things and different ways, and you know, like they're an inspiration to us, like as well, like you know. So we've learned a lot from them and their attitude and you know the way they look at life, you know. So basically, kind of everything really, everything about them is good, like you know. So we both grew up in houses that kids were kind of taken into, and I suppose it was part of our own life.
I used to always think, oh, I'll foster when I'm older, like kind of thing. So yeah. We got a few phone calls and a few referrals, and nothing ever happened. And then we got this referral for the boys, and it was like, nothing will happen. And then all of a sudden at 4 o'clock in the evening, like, we're on the way, and it's like, shit. Start moving, start doing this, start doing that. And they came then and they went to bed that night, and Gerry and I lay awake the whole night going, what happens if they run away? What happens if they do this? What happens if they do that? We woke up the next morning and our son was in the room next to us singing his heart out, singing away, and we were like, okay, this might be alright.
It was an upheaval in our house because we went from just the two of us over 20 years to
5 of us overnight.
Five of us overnight, you know, like so. Yeah. And never having kids of our own, like so, to having three all of a sudden one day, like it was a bit of an upheaval, but in a good way, like you know. So in a good way, like you know, we're quite lucky the lads settled in fairly quick and that. So
I think they settled into it quicker than we did.
FFI, they're always at the end of the phone, like you know. So.
Like we did one
time. The educational support's a whole lot, like is great, like because these lads, you know, do intend on going on to college, and you know, so far anything we've asked for, like we've got help with. If it has ever crossed your mind to become a foster carer, pick up the phone.
They make you laugh every day. They, you know, they're really are an inspiration. The three of them are there.
You don't know what's going to walk in your door. And
what challenges you'll face.
Yeah, and they're nervous, you're nervous, you know, you're all waiting, you're making sure the sofa is, everything's tidy, and you're just hoping that you can get through the relaxed stage. And once that initial hello is done, you know, it's like they're sussing you out, you're sussing them out, and it's, yeah.
Especially with like older foster children, like the first hour is always a bit awkward, because you're kind of like, hiya. Then like once you crack the first hour, like you're grand, like once you find out what their interests are and stuff, then that's like good, because you have something to talk about, and then the conversation just kind of starts from there, and then you wake up the next morning and then it's like they were always there.
I think we communicate a lot more where we've had to over the years, where we sit down and we started having like little family meetings, which we never would have really needed to do before. But now when something happens, like we have a meeting and we sit down, we get it sorted. You know, if it's the boys causing problems, as brothers do, you know, we get it sorted, and you know, it has to be sat down. So I think with that, we do speak a lot more, where before it'd be like they'd be going, yeah, it's mom, blah blah blah, but now it's a case of we have to sit down. As far as support and stuff has gone, I've had different social workers allocated to myself over the years, from people moving on and stuff, and I think we've been extremely lucky with the social workers and stuff that we have. Yeah, obviously I'd get to know them more than the children or even Joey would, but I think we've been very lucky over the years. I've always felt comfortable enough to let them know if things aren't particularly going a certain way, or if I need help, or you know, if the kids were struggling. You know, I've had a social worker come out and talk to the kids, and when we had the placement, you know, that wasn't going too well, and they got fully supported in that as well, and I think that's good for them to know as well.
Fostering's all just about making the child happy and doing what's right for them, and if for some reason they're not working in another house, you just have to do whatever you can to look after that person and make sure that they're okay and that they're happy.